Previously on Ash of Gods, Redemption. Thorn and his group head west after being declared outlaws for their escape. Their first stop will be the charmingly named Burial Stockade. Fashta helps convince the captain of a Juranan patrol to let the group continue on their way. Having reached the Burial Stockade, the party picks up a guide to help them get through the wastelands and arrives safely at the Marsh Watch. The wastes are a place twisted by strange magic, where visions of the dead sometimes appear with messages for the living. For Thorn, they provide direction. Look for the White Tower. It's not much, but it's something.
The line between vengeance and retribution is akin to a sword blade. Wield it. Shadow Clan's code for warriors of peace.
Okay, here we go, Chapter 5. Lo Pheng's section, then. It's one long chapter. Alright, so Lo Pheng. Many roads across the steppe. Make sure to take the one that goes by the Triple Menhir. So we have the Cursed Ravine. Stretch of the mountain path between the Gellian Tunnel's exit and the Black Temple. Notorious for its abundance of poisonous herbs and cliffside vultures' nests. There's the Quimra path. Dirty road in the steppe, occasionally used by the Quimra to get to the Red Market. Or the Woden Road, a way that leads from the city of Woden to the Triple Menhir through the Gellian Tunnel. So that'll take us that way. The Quimra path goes that way, and the Cursed Ravine goes through there. So let's see. Red Market, Gellian Market, Hot Springs, Tracks, Levers, and Cripples, Poison Springs, Black Temple, Red Gates, Gellian Mine, Cattle Burial Site, Tipsy Well, Gellian Altar, Alright. I think we're going to take the Quimra path. We'll see how this goes. Reit walks behind you, struggling to stay on her feet. Her eyes have darkened, and her feverish brow is hot to the touch. Keep an eye on her. The Reaper's curse may be killing her. You halt, noticing a small band of Gells on the road ahead. They drag a young, dark-skinned monk behind them with a rope. The mountain dwellers trade in slaves, but no one in Frisia will buy a temple servant. don't think they're going to sell the lad as a slave, Kendi explains. More likely, they're taking him to a Gellian altar. They'll slit his throat, chant their songs, and wash their faces in his blood. That's how they worship their gods. Should we interfere? You recall Reit's word about a shortcut, which reveals itself when blood is spilt. It'd be a waste to pour blood onto the Gellian altar, and you have to do something about the Gells traveling ahead of you. Alright, let's attack. As you near the Gells, a boulder rolls down the slope. The Gells turn, see you, and draw their weapons. Losing the element of surprise will make the skirmish a bit longer. Overall, a negotiable hitch. Alright, we're still just level 2. Alright, here goes nothing. Hey, nobody on their side has range. Excellent. Alright, I think this might actually go okay. Really? Except for the part where Reit had to move forward. Yeah, see, now Reit's gonna take some damage. Okay, well, hopefully everyone will attack Lo Pheng. Because nobody's going to be able to lay a hand on him. back her up. Right, fine. If we're going to lose her for this battle here shortly, we might as well do some damage first. Okay. Ow. Isn't she the assassin? No, she's the hammer one. Alright. She's our assassin. Just gonna have to hope we can draw some fire. Shoot. I really didn't expect to lose Lo Pheng there. This. Yeah, so now I'm gonna lose her. Fine. Okay. Well, we know she's going to take a hit. No, he's going to go over here. All right. Hopefully that stun lock will buy us. No. Fine. Gosh, that was an ugly fight there. In the aftermath, you approach the monk you saved. He looks around frantically, wary of his newfound freedom. "Who are you?" you ask with a tilt of your head. The monk mumbles apprehensively, a silly smile on his lips. "My name is Alice. I'm traveling from Menhir to Menhir at the behest of the Temple of Divine Wrath. Do you know where these Gells were taking me?" You cut the monk's ropes to a Gellian altar, where they would slice open your throat. You reply, "I saved you. Your life belongs to me now. You'll go where I tell you. To the Triple Menhir, that is. You might be useful." "Rest assured I will do your bidding," the monk mumbles apprehensively still. "Don't let my young age fool you. I can heal, and I know some temple enchantments against evil." Candy gets your attention. "Reit's not getting up. She's feverish. Barely alive. I'm afraid we might lose her." "See if Alice can help." You signal to Alice, who rushes to Reit, and examines her. Her life is on the line. She's suffering from a terrible curse. Even the men here won't help, though I can't say for sure. You'll have to fashion a stretcher to carry Reit. She mentioned that the Triple Menhir might help her. You have to hurry. All right, well, we'll go for the Triple Menhir then. Kind of a long way. You keep looking back to Reit, who quickly declines until she looks too ill to continue. Her lips whiten, her pupils widen, and a bluish web spreads across her face. You stop to consider your options. The monk, close to fading himself, leans over to Reit and makes a helpless gesture. "This is not a malady I can cure, but a powerful curse I cannot lift." Reit winces in pain, trying to speak. Her strength fades, like water spilt in sand. She can still talk, but you must kneel beside her to hear the faint whispers. Well, let's see if she knows how I can save her. "This requires a special remedy we don't have," Reit whispers. "Or a miracle, but those never happen." You have to lean closer. Reit's voice is so faint that she must nearly brush her ear with her lips to be heard. "I know where the icon's power lies. The sacrificial stones, the sacred Strixes, the spirit of 1,000 generations. It's different where I come from. The Quimra only have one stone." Reit closes her eyes. Her body becomes leaden. You feel the Strixes and the icon patterns searing your flesh, the most sacred of which she wasn't supposed to know, the closest guarded secret of the Shadow Clan. Reit's voice echoes in your head. You lower the bodice of Reit's dress to discover a bleeding wound on her chest. A gash left by a relic pried out, an amulet now lost, the dent in a perfect body, a scar from the Reaper's examination. So, give Reit our stone, try and use regular Strix, or wait for the end. Let's do this. You bare your left shoulder, Feel for one of the sacrificial stones and carve it out with a knife. It sears your hand. Your blood scalds your fingertips. You put the stone into the gash in Reit's body. She jerks convulsively, then lies still, as if paralyzed. Color returns to her cheeks and her breath steadies. The venomous vestiges of the curse begin to fade. You cover the stone with your hand, holding it inside Reit's body and whispering ritual incantations to heal the wound. It seems to work. The prized possession of the Shadow Clan will serve a new master, while you become an outcast. It's impossible to conceal the loss of even one sacrificial stone. Coming to, Reit notices you, and your freshly wounded shoulder. Understanding dawns on her. You did it? You weren't supposed to. What have you done? You close your eyes. Don't tell anyone anything. Pull yourself together. We need to keep going. But remember, now I really need to know how to kill a Reaper. You order your companions to set up camp while you dress your and Reit's wounds. You both need a good night's sleep. Whatever happens next, let it happen tomorrow. When morning comes, you discover Reit in a much better state. She's still pale, and her hands still tremble, but there's a determined look on her face, her jaw set. You suspect that she has much to tell you, but you're the first to speak. You knew it. You knew I could save you. Why didn't you ask me to do it? How could I ask the impossible? I know what the sacrificial stones are. They're the icons most sacred. Your ancestors' valor is preserved within them. Asking you to give up a stone is like asking you to give up your life. It's not something one asks for. Now you will never be forgiven for what you've done. How could you know the secrets of the Shadow Clan? The Shadow Clan was founded by the great Ancestress. A sword fighter like no other, she passed her skill down to the icons. Centuries ago, she left your island and came to the Quimra. She left us too, long before I was born. Did she teach your ancestors the art of sword fighting? She taught them wisdom. You're saying something about a shortcut? There's the roaming menhir on the very outskirts of the Vale of Mercy. All you need to do is be there when it appears and perform a simple ritual involving the spilling of blood. This will transport you to any of the many menhirs of Terinium, including those closer to the Isle of Shadows. Weren't you in a hurry? A warrior of peace is never in a rush. I've heard rumors of the roaming menhir, which the Shadow Clan consider fantasy. If they are indeed true, it would explain the fabled Quimran's speed. The Quimra have many secrets. A warrior of peace does not seek forgiveness. A warrior of peace does not forsake his own teachings, and you just did. I'm grateful for it. I didn't foresee the curse when I opposed the Reaper. I hoped to survive. What are you hoping for now? I'm hoping this reaping doesn't turn the world into one massive burial ground. Reasonable thing to hope for. Alright, continuing down the Quimra path here. You see a small palisaded market just off the road. The Galleon watch guards the entrance. Inside, the Galleon hunters sell wildfowl from the steppe and forest, as well as arms. You're no hunter, but it's hard to resist a pheasant baked in coal. The guards stop you, and one of the merchants tells you that weapons aren't allowed in the market. Let's try and negotiate, because I don't think we're going to get anywhere by refusing or arguing. You order your companions to turn in their weapons, but say that when icons lose their weapons, they lose their lives, and you don't intend to die. You promise that you won't unsheath your blade in the marketplace, even if begged to do so. After some hesitation, the Gel nods and offers to sell you something. Well, sure, let's look at the merch. Okay. Buy more cards. Never have too many card fragments. And then buy more Strixes. And buy items that are useful. I don't really feel like attack +2 is worth health -8. You back away from the merchant and notice some concerned looks aimed at your weapon. You decide to leave the market to avoid provoking the Highlanders. Good call. Alright, let's go to camp and update things here now. Oh, wow. Everybody wants to chat, too. Cool, we'll do that after we do squad management here. Because, yeah, now everyone's not wounded. Which is nice. Okay, let's talk to the rest of the party then. Starting with Reit. Why are you always alone? Do the Quimra avoid befriending foreigners? Do icons befriend foreigners? In any case, I'm never truly alone. My tribe and my steppe are always with me. Not going back to your family, are you? You might say that I've already seen my family and am now going where I want. Where I ought to. Ought to or want to? We'll find out soon enough, Icon. There are no obvious answers. It's what I've been contemplating. Sure, where are the Quimran villages and cities? Wouldn't tell you even if they existed, which they don't. We have our hideaways, and the ghost town of Donut accepts us from time to time, but our true home is the steppe, our ceiling the blue sky. Our houses are covered wagons, ready to travel again in a matter of minutes. What makes you restless? Come by the nickname before. Some people call the Quimra restless nomads. We're restless because we're waiting for the end of the world. Our tribe mother, Harga, predicted it, and the past reapings signaled the same. Why worry about things beyond your control? Why live in the shadow of a 700-year-old prophecy? The reaping may flay this world, but can do no worse. This is the third reaping, Icon. According to the prophecy, what's come twice shall come again. What's come thrice is done for good. I also believe there's nothing a man cannot do. Get where they resemble Enses, but alright. How can you say that? The Enses aren't a tribe, they're warriors. Skilled or not, you should treat them as such, even if they're vagrants who serve evil. Did you tame them? Harga did it, the matriarch of my clan. She knew the Enses' language and spoke to them. Those who didn't understand or wouldn't listen, she killed. The rest she saved, if only for a short while. Few Enses can survive a reaping. Though they don't always appear during reap time, they were around long enough to bring the Quimra into being. Were there women among the Enses? Did anyone fancy the masked strangers? How did it happen? That's the heart of the matter, Icon. No one fancied them, but Harga had a special skill. She possessed women's bodies and forced them to take the Enses' seed. It's a grim story. The Quimra wouldn't be here otherwise. Neither would I. Is the matriarch of your clan buried? No particular spot, though I know where you're going with this. Harga possessed other women's bodies to bear the Enses' children. She who can possess others can live forever, but immortality eluded Harga. Even so, she never received a burial. She died. She was one of the 12 who forfeited their lives in the drowsy deep 700 years ago. She cast a spell on herself and turned to stone, then crumbled to ash. All who visit the place walk on her flesh. I see. Our chronicles say that 12 broke the circle of mortal vanity and embraced non-existence. The power they released nearly tore Terminium in half. But I have no further questions. Come talk to me when you have more. As the Quimran saying goes, weaving words isn't like driving herds. Well, let's start by talking to Kendi. Why are you going to Burkana and not to Vendila? What's in Vendilia for me? I'm Frisian, despite the color of my skin. My grandpa was from Baldar, and you know what happened in Baldar. Let's see. What got you into trouble? Love did. Take it or leave it. The temple issued me a bodyguard's license. I was quickly hired, and my client started humping me right away. And I, fool that I was, grew quite fond of his wife, so I put up with him, even though I knew he'd end up paying for it. The heart wants what it wants. Oh, you can tame the heart. I just didn't want to. I grew too comfortable and got soft. What good would another stinky hog do me, especially after all I've been through at the temple? His wife betrayed me. It turned out she just wanted to get back at her hubby for favoring me over her. And she got back at him. Looks like it. She arranged for him to catch us together. The rest is simple. Anyone tries to kill me, I defend myself. His wife is a rich widow now. And I'm here, even though I could have ended up on the rack. Still. Fighting style is unusual for a Frisian. Didn't learn my skills in the army. I fought in the temple arenas. Wasn't alone, Icon. Believe it or not, temple harlots are allowed to do many things, especially if we disguise our whims with levity. The price of my schooling was real, however. How did you manage to escape the ranks of temple harlots? I gambled, defeated 5 temple servants, and winning my freedom. They wouldn't have honored the bargain, but it just so happened that the Primarch was looking for a reason to take them down a peg. I had obliged. How much did you bet, and where did you get the money? Didn't have any money, so I bet my life, agreeing to be tortured on top of it all. The temple servants sharpened their knives, fighting over who'd get to peel off my dark skin. Are you a Vandal or Frisian faith? Neither. I believe someone watches over all people, but without a specific purpose. God, or gods, don't care about us. It'd be even better if they forgot about us completely. You're a free woman, I see. I've always been a free woman, even though I had every orifice subjected to the temple's lechery when I was young. Good talk. I want you to know that I'm relying on you, Kendi. Whether it makes you happy or not, I rely on you too, Icon. It's nice to work without the usual sniveling and whining. Just got a point there. Right, let's talk to Ruhr. What troubles you, Ruhr? Huh. You can tell that I'm troubled? It's many things, actually. I'd love a skin of Palean firewater and an agreeable woman without a sword. And the sea. I really miss the sea. What does the sea mean? Actually, how did you plan to kill the Frisian commander? By hitting him on the head with my axe. That's my trade. Frighten off stalkers and help settle old debts. This job just fell into my lap. They issued me a license and promised to pay me well. Can't earn much without a license these days. Aren't you afraid of his guard? There's no reason to be afraid. Imagine you're rowing in the middle of a storm. You're drenched with cold water, your boat's about to flip over. When's the right time to be afraid? It's stupid to fear the storm before it comes. Even more so once it's over. It's the same story with that commander's guard. You must consider the danger. Your abilities may not be enough. Even an Icon knows better. I don't know what Icons think. Paleans have a saying. If you're not strong enough, be daring. Paleans are born daring. The gods gave me an extra helping. What does the sea mean to you? Fire courses through your veins as a Palean longship of warriors holding oars cuts through the waves. You become possessed by the many-armed sea god. You don't feel the cold, wind, or exhaustion. The sea is life. My island is surrounded by the sea. To see an island that's not in the middle of the sea. You're just gonna call any plot of land surrounded by fresh water an island. We're done talking. Seawater cannot quench thirst. Just don't say that to a Palean. For many of us, the sea provides our water and earns our drinks. No one speaks ill of the sea. It's full of dangers, yes, but it's not evil. You have a hard time without agreeable women. Some men want women to scream and resist, but not me. I occasionally cheated to get what I wanted, but I'm not proud of it. What are you proud of? That's some question. I don't know anymore. There was a time when I took pride in my Redonan steel axe, and in my broad shoulders. I make women moan in pleasure beneath me. Oh, and I can sing well. What do you take pride in? Pride isn't familiar to Icons. They see it like a diamond-studded buckle on a worn belt. Excessive. Define pride for yourself, and you'll know that I'm right. You already do. Time for me to go. I hope you see the sea again, Ruhr. It's easy as pie, Icon. Pick any brook and walk downstream. Sooner or later, it will become a river. And rivers flow into the sea. No problem at all. What if this river flows into the great abyss? Then you had a run of bad luck. Well, that's one way to look at it. Alright, let's talk to Bola. Hopefully she doesn't poison your companions. Great. I saw you brew something in a little pot, seasoning with herbs and ashes. Who's that brew for? Don't worry, Icon. It's not for you. I haven't decided who it's for yet. It's a love potion, but not the kind that affects the heart. This one invigorates the loins, and I know what to do about that. I learned a thing or two in my time. Okay, well, where'd you learn to wield a spear? A good person taught me that you must do your best to survive. An attacker can wrest a knife from you, and the same is true of the bow and sword. Spears and sticks, on the contrary, are always handy. You can grab a shovel, a hoe, anything goes. You never know what might save your life. Was it a soldier who taught you? It was an old man, a Frisian veteran. I rented a room from him. I didn't bring company there, of course. I cooked him meals in exchange for lessons. I was taken when he died. Can always tell a good teacher by his students, like seeing a room's interior through a clean window. What else can you do?
Hey!
Other than impaling myself on others' shafts and impaling the enemy in battle? Are you proposing to me? If you must know, I can do almost anything. Cook, clean, sew and knit, cure simple wounds, set bones, read and write, and bear children. At least I think I can have kids. I haven't tried yet. I'm sure you'll try later. That's what I'm hoping for. Not just for hardship's sake, to have a living being that reflects my affection. Do you even understand what I'm talking about? Everyone has a mother. Not even icons are forged in the smithy. What if someone else uses your potion? I'll fill a flask and keep it on my chest. Or did you mean exploiting the lust of others? I'll give a drop to some rich Birkin, and he can hump whoever he likes. It'll come back to me for the second drop. It's a foul potion, Bola. Why do you say so? It's an old Vandal recipe. Nothing like the addictive Frisian invigorating elixir. That won't even raise your mast after a year. My potion is joy and pleasure. It's safe to take, even if you're ancient. Just don't let your hand spill any into the communal pot. Why would I do that? An owl only hunts mice near its nest if there's a risk of starvation. But I can manage without my potions. Now, good luck to you, Bola. Could use some luck. And patience. A girlfriend of mine taught me to be patient. Imagine being trapped under a rock slide, she said. Part of you can't help but rejoice at still being alive. Although, truthfully, more often I imagined myself stuck under a filthy sack. As long as you don't end up inside that sack. Right, let's talk to Doom. Frisian picks pebbles from the road, Some he tosses back, others he keeps. What are they for? Why are you collecting pebbles from the road, Doom?
That's for curiosity's sake. These are rich lands. They only ever mined silver here, in the foothills of the Silver Mountains. This sparkling gray stone is galena. That orange one is iron ore. This one's coal, the soft kind.
Know about this too?
I'm savvy, you know. I've got an eye for detail. In learning different trades, I examined the skills I learned from every side. Not to brag, but the crew of the Gordon Ferry was rather upset when I got transferred to repair the machine in the Gellion Tunnel.
You'll be fine in Burkana then.
Still a long way to Burkana. See what happens. Doubt there's work to be found during reap time. Wondering what to look for. A woodcutter's axe or a stonemason's hammer.
Choose the sword, Doom. You can't go wrong with a sword. Served in the army, didn't you?
So what? We're all bound to service. We were fed, issued a sword and armor, and handed over to a commander. Yes, I served, but I wasn't in the thick of things.
Was in the thick of it.
The Battle of Bald. The Vandals fought bravely. They held the northern bastions even when they had nothing left. The temple servants promised to spare their lives if they surrendered, but they lied. They showered the Vandals with arrows and sword blows. Thousands of black warriors.
There are other wonders in the Great Abyss.
Everyone knows it. There are exposed gold veins, but there's also poison. Vapors, you know. From above you see gold, surrounded by corpses. Some held cloth over their mouths. Others wore sacks or glass jars on their head. All useless gimmicks.
Why don't you think up a solution?
Tinkered with one idea. You need to set up a crane with a pincer that folds its jaws together when lifted. That'd help you pull something out. You need a really strong rope, though. And preferably no arrows stuck in your back. Forging such a pincer isn't a problem.
You'd have to wait with your pincer until after the reaping ends. Maybe we'll chat later. I want you to know that I hope you reach Burkana, Doom.
You're funny, Icon. I didn't think you hoped for anything. I guess I'll make it then, if I'm lucky.
Okay, let's see about Swarty. I noticed you're mending clothes. You're good with a needle? Do you think women like me are only good in bed?
If I offered you a finger, you'd take the whole arm, wouldn't you?
Depends on the pay. I've heard various things. I'd think twice if I were you. Even a slave woman's patience has its limits. Well, you're no longer a slave. Emancipated. My father gave me freedom, but no money. I guess I should be happy he let me keep my dress. Gave him my documents, but the Frisian guard took them away for minor misconduct. Well, what else can you do? Just looking for company or choosing a wife? If you want a quickie, we'll agree on a price, but I won't marry you. Yeah, gee whiz, what did I do to you, lady? It's always the way, isn't it? Okay, fine. Every asshole thinks, what did I ever do to you, instead of making an effort to do something nice. One makes a living the best way they can. Oh yes, you'll toil and bend over backwards to keep yourself fed. If you want to live, you'd eat shit and say thank you. Well, you're making fine stitches. I do everything properly. I had no shortage of men on the Gordon Wharf. One of my great-grandmothers was a vandal. I have my father's looks and my mother's temper. Though I have to admit, my father abandoned me, for my mother was a slave. I'm just grateful he gave me emancipation documents. Well, banter is nice, but there are other things to do. It's your life, Swarty. Wasn't thinking anything else. And for that, I'm grateful. Even a woman like me prefers a true word to one that's kind or rude. Okay. Let's go check Alice, who's hiding something. A vandal from Frisia, a monk far from home, all by himself. You were on a pilgrimage, weren't you, Alice? Why are you alone? Were your companions killed? Frisian monks don't normally travel alone when not in Frisia.
No.
Unless they're punished. My penance is to visit 10 different menhirs and spill my blood on each. It's punishment for expressing my impure inclinations. So, how many menhirs have you already visited?
No.
Just the Triple Menhir. Counts as one as far as I'm concerned. The menhirs in Frisia don't count. Be on the road for a while.
Oh.
At least a year. There's just the Triple Menhir before the Vandal Forest, and the Reclining One. And there's the Water Menhir. The Dead Menhir at Opicum doesn't count, so I'd have to go as far as Ursus. The pains people take for forgiveness. Can always choose to starve to death in prison. The Primarch of our temple promises that'll grant you privileges when you reach the god's altar. Well, what are you hiding? Do you want the details? Once a month, they bring young women to the temple to help the monks release the tension of their loins. I personally wasn't interested in the female body, which vexed the Primarch. Do you have other inclinations? Forgive me, Icon, but that's not your concern. Suppose you're right, but it seems to me you're holding something back. Yes, my friend was a young monk just like me. He died from overexertion. I lost my temper when talking to the Primarch. Prior to sending me on this pilgrimage, they lashed me 200 times with salt. To this day, I can't sleep on my back. Why become a monk in the first place, then? It wasn't by choice. My parents handed me over in lieu of paying the temple tithe. I had no choice. Vandals have difficult lives in Frisia. Despite the hardship, I'm not complaining. Don't see a collar around your neck. Did you know that no Frisian monks are orphans? Want to know why? If I ran away, my entire family ends up facing the executioner. How soon until the Primarch of your temple tires of waiting and dispatches guards to your family home? How will you prove that you've made the pilgrimage and didn't just spend the time relaxing in some Burkanan widow's house?
Oh.
Within a year, I must return from one of the Burkanan temples with proof of my pilgrimage. Don't be surprised. Various temples still communicate, even when Burkina and Frisia are at war. The temple is steadfast. Well, pray the gods grant us luck when you have time. What do you ask when you pray? I pray to strengthen my resolve. My ancestors, Vandal shamans, disapproved of asking the gods for anything a man can achieve on his own. Very well, then. And finally, we'll have a word with Shannon. It was dangerous even out of combat, selfish, ruthless, and deceitful. You should get to know her better. This is a great idea. You're the only one without hope in your eyes. Are you just following the wind? What good is it? Want to know the truth? I murdered an important temple servant, ambushed him and slit his throat in revenge. After that, I got myself into a brawl, and they threw me in the dungeon. If not for the reaping, I'd have walked free already. Where did you learn to fight? So you've noticed my skills. I studied in the same temple as Kendi, but in a different way. Saw her there quite often. Mostly on all fours rather than studying. Even when studying, she was ready to spread her legs at any moment. I'm not blaming Kendi, just explaining that I'm not like her. So who are you then, Shannon? I was taught what Kendi learned the hard way, and more. They were saving me for something special. Turning me into a killer, a venomous snake. They taught me various tricks and the mysteries of the bedchamber. Poisons, knives, special strikes. Many things. I was a good student. Why would a temple acolyte need such skills? That I don't know. My mentor said that true power isn't just about strength and station. It's also your sting, and a stinger needs sharpening. If you don't need hope, what do you fall back on? What suspends a bird in the sky? Nothing. Just like that. If you get high enough, you can spread your wings and fly above your troubles. You only need to look down from time to time. You see some prey, you dive, grab it, rest on a rock, eat it, and then go back to the skies. What do you see from up above? An icon warrior who doesn't know where he's going, and me, a brainless woman, following him, and blood that blankets the earth like an autumn frost. Just like you, Icon. Our eyes are similarly narrow, but how else do we look alike? Not giving a shit about others. Myself either, to be honest. Many of your ancestors, Icon. What do you care? You surprised that Icon's seed spreads without the written consent of your council of elders? You trying to control another man's seed as you do your own? You could acquire protection at the Isle of Shadows. Frisia pales in comparison to what I've heard about your island. Are you trying to entice? A female breeder? Or a piece of meat for tempering your blades? Do you believe those old wives' tales? It's better to overestimate the danger. Such mistakes are more forgiving. Can't argue with her there. Alright, enough talk, I don't trust you. What good is belief? You can't spread it on bread or wrap it around your shoulders. I see right through you, and I'm happy with what I see. It's useless to seduce you, but you won't betray me. Accurate. Alright, well, that's the entire campfire, so... back on the road. We are trying to get to the Triple Menhir here. Right. We're gonna take the drunken path down to the Tipsy Well. A small procession turns onto the road ahead of you. Mules and half-dead nags drag two overloaded wagons. Judging by the color and shimmer of the powder covering the sacks, it's salt. The cargo isn't what interests you. It's the strange-looking vandals driving the horses. Around here, you'd expect Frisians. Hey, Squinty! Interested in some cash? The vandal sitting next to the first wagon's coachman disdainfully asks. We're delivering an order for Nikoma, the temple advisor. Pays good coin for salt, which he uses to preserve human flesh. Buys people, too. Dead or alive. Only need to salt the dead ones. So, if you have anyone for sale... These guys are dirtbags. Yeah, we're going violent. You shake your head. You talk too much for your own good. I don't know why Nikoma needs so much salt, but he'll regret his choice of supplier when it never arrives. The vandal gives you a scornful look. What do you mean, it never arrives? I'm licensed by the temple. I'm untouchable. You dart between the two wagons, then look back to watch the slashed bodies tumble. A warrior of peace doesn't honor temple licenses brandished by scumbags. Regardless, it'd be a good idea to search the bodies. Plus, I don't like Nikoma. So, on down the drunken path we go. Your warrior wenches whisper among themselves and cast glances your way. Finally, one of them approaches you. You wait for Swarty's question. Listen, Icon. She hesitates. I wanted to ask about the women on your island. First, tell me, do you have slaves? Just answer the question. You see genuine curiosity in her eyes and decide to answer truthfully. We have very few slaves. Peasants tend to their own fields, women to their children, craftsmen to their trade. We only need slaves to train our warriors. Swarty's eyes widen. You mean you kill them? You shrug and try to think of an answer. Tell the truth. You nod. We do occasionally, but only in fair duels. Icons have been killed too, but it almost never happens. Swarty frowns. The Icons fight of their own free will, but these poor wretches... Advisors to the elders look for captive warriors all over Terminium, you say. They buy those who are committed to spend the rest of their lives fighting. Swarty looks confused. Suppose such a slave defeated an Icon. Would he be set free? No, you answer curtly. He'd be killed by another icon. So, don't be a slave on the Icon Island? Smells from a mobile kitchen lead you off the road. You survey the area atop the nearest hill and discover a Frisian camp surrounding a well in a shallow valley. There are 3 tents, several poles with Frisian pennants, an assembly area marked by trampled ground, and a scaffold for corporal punishment. It's a rally point for Frisian detachments, Shannon whispers. Obviously, supplies and ammunition are in those tents. You could sneak in through the bush. Those supplies would certainly be useful. You know that you're the only one capable of this feat, but is it worth the effort? Look, we're at war with basically all of Frisia at this point, so yeah. Time to kick some ass. Organize a raid. Head for the camp, pick your way through the hillside brambles. Search left, search central, search right. Let's go left. You creep into the tent on the left. Apparently it's being used to store foodstuffs and water, which for some reason, there's also hundreds of empty water skins in a heap. Normally each soldier carries his own. Okay, well that's weird. Why? You approach the water skins and discover that they're all sealed and labeled by the temple. But you don't recognize the ornate lettering. You hear something behind you and turn around. A wandering, drunken Frisian has noticed you. You quickly tackle him, piercing his throat with your dagger. You hope that you didn't make too much noise. Peek outside the tent and sneak outside. Okay, let's check the central tent. Centermost tent stands on a floor of soft cloth. Inside are several leather sacks that reek of carrion, and a heap of strange mechanisms covered with a tarp. Well, let's check the devices. You lift the tarp to find stacks of guns. You know what they are, despite never having seen them before. Steel tubes with mechanisms on one side. They're deadly weapons. Well, let's disable them. You pick up one of the guns. Finding the most delicate of its parts, you disable the mechanism. You do the same to the rest. When you're done, you turn to the sound of footsteps. The tent flap opens. You grab the Frisian that enters, breaking his neck with a quick twist. It's time to go. Body count so far, 2. Carefully lift the flap of the tent and exit. You've made enough of a racket. It's time to leave the camp. Your hunches are uncanny. No sooner do you leave, an alarm sounds and a band of Frisians sets out after you. You'll have to fight them. Alright, let's rock and roll. Alright, this looks good. Ooh, oh, this is gonna hurt. Is that a crossbow guy? We got 3 crossbow guys and 3 pikemen. I wish I brought more bowmen. Let's just wait and let them come to us then. Janet's an assassin, if I recall correctly. Yeah. I should have moved her up a little bit at the very least. Oh well. All right. Well, by all indicators, this should be okay for this round. Somebody's gonna get... Nope. Do this. I don't know if that was a good idea or not. So I was going to say, because he's going to take a hit. He's going to take a big hit. The thing is, okay, so I can pop him. So this is where we buff his defense. take out 2 of these spearmen. Just gonna have to buff defense and try and get there for the next round, I guess. Oh hey, let's do that. Should have done that sooner. Someone just needed to roll over. So he's just going to keep stabbing Lo Pheng, which is fine. That armor buff won't go until Lo Pheng's next turn, which we'll take now, because this ought to be able to kill him. And lights out. Yeah, that was actually pretty successful. Everyone lived. Alright. Let's pop over to the campfire and upgrade the skills we just got. Alright, anyway, back to it. Well, so we've gotten to the tipsy well. Now we can either follow the drunken path or take the hungry path. Which is the path of the final pilgrimage, a mortal choice for anyone daring to take it beyond the Frisian road. Well, that looks like it's going to be a lot faster than trying to make our way to the Gellian altar and up the Woden road, so take the hungry path. A man, dressed as a junior Frisian commander, sits on a rock by the roadside. It's only when you get closer that you realize he's dead. Stiff fingers clasp the hilts of 2 daggers that pierce his lungs through his rib cage. Buzzing flies have been drawn by the sickly smell of decay. The embrace of death, you whisper. Shannon cries out in surprise and makes for the corpse. You can see the Strix-encrusted captain's insignia on the dead man's chest, and a satchel on his shoulder, its lid held tight with a piece of string. The marauders haven't yet desecrated the body. Fine, whatever. Do your thing, Shannon. Shannon snatches the pendant from the dead man's chest and rummages through his satchel. Seeing this reminds you of something your mentor said. Everyone stumbles once in a while. The important thing is to acknowledge when it happens, even if it takes time. It is no coincidence that the warrior who committed ritual suicide had a valuable pendant on his chest and a satchel on his back. Whoever claims them will also shoulder his sins. Not a concern to those already cursed, and aren't you all? An hour later, Shannon asks you why. Why did he do it? To cleanse his spirit? His reputation? You weigh your words carefully. I know one thing. Whatever this Frisian is guilty of by killing himself, is ensured that his family will receive support and his children will be allowed to attend temple school. Which is honorable in a sense. Alright, Quimra path to the Triple Menhir. Something towers in the distance, giving off the sweet scent of decay. When you reach the strange landmark, the reality is worse than you feared. The man-made structure in the middle of the steppe is as tall as 4 men, and made from poles and spears bound with rope. Naked, mutilated human bodies have been impaled on the poles. Some have had the skin ripped from their faces. The sight makes some of your companions sick. Reit slowly walks around this macabre structure. It's a new sanctuary. 24 corpses in all. Some were skewered alive. You can see scratch marks on the bark of the poles. The lower tier are all Gells. I can't see who are above them. It'd take at least 100 Gells to do this. Maybe more. I've never heard of a rite like this. It's sheer madness. You wonder who'd know about the strange building. Shannon, Kendi, none of them are Gells. Search your own memory. Try to remember any rumors, stories, or other helpful details, but nothing useful comes to mind. You don't know what you're looking at. Reit walks around the structure again. It almost looks like a tower. It took several days to build, and look, there are fastenings for more poles and corpses up top. The Gellian tracks fan out in different directions. Probably groups going to fetch more building materials. Let's give everything one more look. Redhead suddenly beckons you to the side. She's found a basalt slab with a crude inscription scratched into its surface. Reit leans over them. The language is Gellian, written in Frisian runes. It says that the demon's tower shall be constructed in 10 days. That's a tier a day. And that all roads are to be blocked while live bricks are harvested for construction. leave. Hide and wait it out. Leave this place. If hide and wait it out meant... If I thought that hide and wait it out meant hide and then kill everybody who comes back, I'd go with that, but I don't think that's what that means, so no, we're burning this abomination. You drench the structure in oil and set it on fire. The corpses catch fire surprisingly quickly, and the tower soon starts falling apart behind you. Your arson doesn't go unnoticed. About half a league down the road, a large band of Gells catches up with you. Great. I want to kick some ass. Let's see. Alright, so we got a bunch of guys with axes and a bunch of guys with swords. Warrior, Marauder, Berserker. These Berserkers do have a ranged attack. Alright, well. Our bow people. And we're going to go with this. See if this works. Okay, who wants to be the first to the party? Everybody's going this way. Fine. What? I don't like it. I'll just wait. This guy, sure. So he walked right into range. do a kill shot. Then it's just not worth it. Same problem here. See, this is gonna hurt. That's a kill. Just don't think it's worth it. That was a mistake. Because now I blocked off Lo Pheng. Hey, okay, now we're talking. Okay, so now we bagged 2. And hopefully made him a target. With a nice retaliatory strike. Seriously? Fine, we'll take that guy out then. He's still got movement. Buff her actually, buff counter. Seriously? Fine, we'll kill him then. I was going to take out those two in the line there, but kind of screwed that up, didn't I? Fine. We'll just let Lo Pheng take hits and retaliate like crazy. She can get the kill. Like, I don't care who gets the kill. I care about getting away without wounds. So that went well. Hop into camp and level up. Moving right along. Continuing on the Quimra path. A column of smoke rises from behind a low hill. You skirt around it and discover a roadside hut engulfed in flames. Children scream inside, and a Gellian woman thrashes about while a bunch of Frisians idly watch and exchange banter. The Woden Inquisitor's description of the icons come to mind. Pass by unobtrusively, help the woman, attack the Frisians, and send a companion to rescue the woman. Let's do direct action, and I'm sure we're going to end up in a fight. You rush to the rescue with your companions, but the Frisians block your way. Yep, sure enough. Okie dokie, fine. Let's rock and roll then. Ooh. Oh man, this is all pikes and crossbows. Ew. This is gonna sting. Okay, we're just gonna make them come to us. Like, basically... I may end up regretting this. But I don't think those crossbow guys have the range to really hit me. May be wrong on that. I guess that was sort of a waste. All right. Fence up. Go take out a couple of pikes. And to become everybody's target. It's okay. Okay, that was kind of annoying. I really hope they do go pick on Lo Pheng or I'm in trouble. Nope, we're gonna be okay. It's defense by 3 and energy by 4. Great. fine, we'll pop that guy then. Not who I wanted to target, but you know what? Fine, we'll take it. Everybody else is mostly playing by the book. Let's go for an absolute kill. Should be fine. Crossbowman should go after Lo Pheng. Who is now going to solve the problem with the crossbowman? You survey the aftermath. There are no more cries. The mother of the perished children lies by the burnt wreckage. She took her own life when the house collapsed. You wipe your blade with a cloth and return it to its scabbard. We should get moving. That's brutal. Tried. Not that that really gives us any credit in this case. And vengeance is kind of a... Yeah, I don't want that. Alright, continue on towards the Triple Menhir. You notice a prostrated merchant near a dry well at the roadside. Several bundles lie near him. He's alive, but exhausted. Stealing his belongings wouldn't befit a warrior of peace, but you can't trade with an unconscious merchant. Well, let's give him some water. Take a flask from your belt and pour some water on the merchant's face. He moves, but still can't open his eyes. Well, let's bring him to his senses. You ask Reit for help, and she uses some potions on the sleeping man. The merchant awakens a few minutes later, looking rather healthy. Turns out that his horse fell, and he hit his head. He managed to bring the sacks to the well, but when he saw that there was no water, he got desperate. He is very grateful for your help, and gives you a small Strix for your trouble. You can also trade with him now. Hey, a positive encounter. Okay, fine. Let's go with a first turn stun here. Alright, back on the road again. You set up camp, using the rare moment of calm to reflect upon recent events. Sitting with your hands on your knees, you let the stream of thoughts carry you. Reit fixes her eyes on you as you travel forth. Does she realize what you've sacrificed to save her? You didn't simply give up some of your strength and skill. You did something utterly unforgivable, betraying your clan, your kin, and yourself. You've betrayed the warrior who paid for this stone with his life, infused your body with a modicum of his power and skill, yet you never knew his name. His spirit has inhabited many bodies throughout generations of Shadow Clan warriors. You'll never forget the moment the priest inserted the sacrificial stone into your flesh. He knew what you'd experience, and pressed your head to the altar so that you wouldn't thrash and crack your head open. You were overcome by sheer terror as another's will wove itself into your veins, but also by another's joy at the realization of immortality and your own exuberant feeling of boundless power. The exuberance was mixed with horror. Could the Reapers feel the same? Shadow Clan wisdom says that the Reapers begin as ordinary humans, but the transformation overwhelms them with power and hatred. Why such hatred? They're not brought up in the ways of Shadow Clan warriors. The Drowsy Deep is a very peculiar location. 700 years ago, a great battle was waged at the Triple Menhir, turning the deep into a lifeless desert of bones that crunch under horses' hooves. Nobody can linger, thanks to the poisonous air. Yet here you are, riding toward the three menhirs. The three sacred stones peak over the horizon. Pilgrims call them the fingers of God. Fingers of the gods. The Palian scans the wasteland ahead. I see Commander Norse is still in position. Or is that someone else? Hard to tell. I see warriors loitering by the sacred stone, but it's not a whole legion, thank the gods. Is it true that all menhirs become poisonous during a reaping? I hope my commander didn't touch this one. Reit dispels his doubts. Those are Enses, the warriors of the menhirs. They appear only in reap time, and they are dangerous. Once they've reached their sacred stone, there's no use talking to them. They'll kill anyone who approaches. The Frisian commander is likely already dead. You know, every time I deal with Enses with the other guys, it always ends up in a fight. Sure, let's try and negotiate first. This isn't gonna work, but what the hell. You ask Reit to negotiate them. She shouts several phrases in temple tongue, then shakes her head. They're guarding the menhir now, deaf and blind to the rest of the world. You can only kill them, though it won't be easy. They're armed with flying swords. The Enses remain still, staring at you, but when you move to the side, they block your path like a living wall. The message is clear. They won't let you pass. You have no choice but to fight. Well, that's what we're going to end up doing anyway. Okay, once again, fight's on. Swamp Dune for... No. Keep those guys as is. Okay. 6 on 6. Delightful. I'm gonna hope that my 2 archers can deal with these problems effectively, and just kind of go this way. And kind of see the advantage. Basically, it comes down to I want to make them move. Right? Because, like, Lo Pheng is best at what he does. If I can get him into position at the start of a turn, and then let everyone else attack him. That was a mistake. Which I might get away with. Take out that guy. Oh, nope, we'll take them both out. Good. So we're going to try and take this guy out with the ladies. I think this is gonna work. Reit's toast. Or not. She actually lived. Great. In that case, I might actually get out of this okay. I should have had her heal instead. Alright. I think I'm gonna get away with this because everyone's gonna be focused on killing Lo Pheng. Lo Pheng is quite capable of solving his own problems. Thank you very much. That's a lot of Strixes. Made it to the Triple Menhir. In the aftermath, Rur addresses you. The commander, Norse, is done for. The Outlanders cut down him and his guards. He didn't have the money he promised. He tricked me. We should leave now, Icon. The Frisian legions approach from the north. They won't be happy to find us here. You step on a shard of a witchblade. The swords have lost power with the deaths of their outlandish warriors. It's unfortunate. They would have made fine trophies. One of the Enses is still alive, reported Reit. He was wounded in the skirmish with the Frisians. He's unconscious, but I can heal him. He will help us. Trust me. Don't have much time, you say coolly. Wouldn't fuss over the wounded. Promised me a shortcut, remember? Remember everything, and I will not forget, she says, frowning. Okay. Well, let's do some quick company updates here. And okay, well, let's see what everyone needs. Alis. Stark-skinned monk is still out of sorts. He looks confused. Loitering forlornly beside the menhir, Alis the monk casts wary glances at the dead Frisians and Enses. He seems uninterested in trophies and weapons. You address him. Did the Menhir help you, Alis? Did it cure your weakness? Alis shrugs timidly. Yes, I'm cured. I guess. I just can't get over walking side by side with death. It's common knowledge that the standing between the stones is much preferred to touching them. Yet, hesitantly adds, Today I learned why. I saw the dead Frisians by the Menhir and knew that touching it is what killed them. Ask if he knows anything about a sage in the steppe. Alis looks perplexed. There's all kinds of folks in the steppe. Hard to tell whether someone's a sage or a cannibal. Thank the gods I've never met either, though truthfully, I can't say for sure about the cannibals. Alis suddenly remembers something. On occasion, my brethren encountered a sorcerer on the Quimra path. He claimed to be looking after a Menhir, but that's bull. There are no sacred stones in the area other than the reclining Menhir, and it needs no minding. You turn around and leave without another word. Okay, let's see what's bothering Swarty. You approach Swarty and notice water skins behind her. She's either thirsty or in the middle of cleaning herself up. Woman can't find a place to wash without being watched. Stepped behind the Menhir, Aurora was doing his business there. That man has no shame. He beckoned to me. Ask the other women to hold a piece of cloth as a screen while you wash. How's your neck? It's no worse. Burns, of course, but the pain eased after I walked between the rocks. It restored my strength, to be sure. When will the ulcer disappear? When the reaping ends, or we all die. Try to ignore it for now. You need to save water. It's better to smell than to die of thirst. Don't speak for everyone. You wouldn't sheathe a notched and gory sword, would you? My body is much like your sword. Fair enough. Just as lethal, just as fast, or not notched? Just as fast. Swarty turns red, stutters to say something, and falls silent. Alright. Burr scans the horizon. You wonder what he's looking for. Do you know these lands? Which way would you choose to approach Burkana? There isn't much to know. The Hungry Path is bad, and the Monk's Path is no better. Same goes for the Frisian Road. Been here a year, and I traveled them all quite a bit. What's wrong with the Frisian Road? If I were still a watchman, I'd say it's a wicked path swarming with Gells. As it is, we don't want to run into Frisian patrols either. There'll be plenty of merchants and inns on that route. Not so much women. The Gells keep a watchful eye over their tasty morsels. Ugh. Okay, what scares you about the Hungry Path? The lands on both sides of the path are strewn with monk's bones, evidence of Gells at their worst. The path's always reeked of death. No amount of water can wash away the foul taste. Okay, what's wrong with the Pilgrim's Path? It's like the Hungry Path, but worse. All ravines, gullies, and brambles. Ambush territory. Watchmen don't venture down that road even in broad daylight. Not to mention the wild beasts and crawling critters. No squatting to relieve yourself. And ew. Well, we're gonna have to choose one of them. Choose the way and we'll follow suit. And take either path before the Frisian legions arrive. Depends where you want to end up. However, the destination is of no consequence in the company of such beauties, nor is the direction. Somebody's gonna get me too'd at this rate. Do you know anything about a shortcut through the steppe? I don't know a shortcut, but I've seen the Quimra disappear in that arid land with my own eyes. One moment you see a whole group, but by the time you climb a hill, they're already out of sight. It's rumored that they're aided by a wandering menhir and a sage that looks after it, but I know nothing more. You nod and walk to your horse. Alright. So I'm getting a lot of hints here that there's this wandering menhir and some sage. Reit's probably gonna know about that. Talk to Doom first. We'll save her for last, because that might be the trigger for leaving. What are you staring at, Icon? The same old Doom. Not being opaque. Just think it's a bit too late for me to start from scratch. So what choice do I have? Does it make a difference? Nothing. That's the irony. There's no other way for me. Why did you have to walk into that accursed tunnel? Whatever you do, it's your choice. If you're coming with me, get ready. We leave soon. Doesn't take much these days. Straighten my clothes, tighten my belt. That's it. I'm ready. Can't help but wonder if what they say about menhirs is true. If someone is ailing, they should walk between the stones. Obviously, you shouldn't touch them. Like patting a rattlesnake it is. You won't try unless you try. Okay, and then Shannet. Who is quarreling with Bola? Should ask Shannet what it was about. Don't get in the middle of two chicks quarreling. But we're gonna do just that. What is it, Icon? Here to question me about the little argument with Bola? Just sit back and enjoy the show. You realize that if I wanted to kill her, I could just snap my fingers. What was the argument about? Do I even want to know? Could be about you. Ah, you don't believe me. Well, all right. I saw a ruby earring in a Frisian's ear, so I cut it off, ear and all. But guess what? This whore told me off. Told me I shouldn't defile the bodies. You remind me of a peacock, fanning out feathers and flaunting around. No fight nor flight. Doing everything poorly, but looking good doing it. Just remember, Icon, crazed peacock is no safer than a rabid wolf. They shoot rabid wolves from a distance. Same goes for foxes. Okay. Alright, well, let's go get Bola's version of the story. Bola hides her face when she notices you. Didn't intend to go around moralizing, but you don't want tension in your party.
Oh.
What do you want? Have you never seen a girl fight? Trust me, there'll be more. Grab hair and knock out teeth. Don't hear me complain. We're not here to wipe our noses. What did you tell her?
I told her that I won't tolerate her whims. I can't stand it when the dead are mutilated. I can't stand it when someone dredges up anger, as if I'm not angry enough.
Saw her lunge at you.
She was showing off. She's hot-tempered and quick to flare up. She knew there were men watching. Men love a good cat fight, so I told her off. A fine excuse. Janet is so fetching in a fight. She's better than I am.
Well, what happened to the ruby?
A ruby? Did she tell you that? I couldn't care less about the ruby. You've seen the Inquisitor's collection in Woden? Janet has it now. She's expanding it. She also took the torture equipment with her. I wonder what's driving her. I think that would be the Inquisitor's collection of ears or whatever body parts he had. Yeah, just... ugh. Yeah, I have no inclination to fuss over either of you. Don't fuss, then. You could have killed each other. So what? Get on your horse and ride away. What are we to you?
I shall do exactly that.
Keep that in mind. Not perfect. I detest this so much that I could kill. I don't really care what you detest. I don't care that you don't care. So that made Bola extra mad, and apparently we made Janet more angry too. Great. Sure, let's talk to Reit. Do you need me, Icon? This Enses' name is Kama. He's still weak, but he can walk and will recoup quickly. He'll fight for us. Yeah, why should I trust an Ens? The Enses are the servants of the reaping. However, the magic that binds them isn't very strong. I can lift the enchantment. It's so easy to recruit servants of the reaping. Why isn't everyone doing it? The Frisians, the temple servants, why don't they control the Enses? They do control them. The reapers in the temple control the Enses. Do you think the reaping comes like a storm? The Enses are poisoned, but some of them are not completely seized by madness then. There are few, but they can be saved. You can recruit an Ens who hasn't lost his mind yet. Only if he's not hostile, and there's no Reaper present, as well as no Menhir nearby, or if it's been soaked in blood. Then, if I'm lucky, I can recruit him. The Quimra hold Enses in shackles for weeks to remove the enchantment. With Kama, we're lucky so much blood has been spilt here already. The Menhir's powers have waned. And there is no Reaper nearby? Yeah, let's go back to that part of that statement. And for a while, none will come. I'm shielding us from view with special enchantments. That said, no Reaper will take control of Kama, even if one manages to track us down. Alright, well, fine. Then where do they come from? Same place as the Menhirs. Quimra wisdom likens the Enses to bees. Their hive came with the Menhirs and landed somewhere in Hale. To these bees, Menhirs are their flowers, and every reaping is springtime. They awaken from slumber and sting. Why do they wear masks? Different people have different customs. Why wear breeches? because it's expected. In the Enses' homeland, the sun is scorching. The mask protects the face and terrifies the enemy. Well, I guess I can't argue with that. Yeah, okay, here's your problem then. Yes, mine and mine only. The Quimra descend from Enses, children of incest. Karma brings fresh blood. An Enses' lifespan is short. In 2 or 3 years, Terminium will devour all that still survive. You want him to sire your child? What's this fresh blood for? For you? That's not your concern. Try and be companionable. Your concerns are mine when we fight together. Time will tell if it concerns or offends you. Want to talk to him. Keep in mind, I can sense dishonesty easily. Okay, and Enz has joined your party. Comma. I brought him up to speed and explained that we're going to Bracana and that we are companions by chance. Yen saw part of the fight, and he's in awe of your sword skills. If you want to ask a question, I'll translate it for you. However, the Ends will soon master our tongue. Are we unable... Yeah, that's the one I want to know. Why are we unable to control their swords? The Ends listens to Reit's translation and says several words in reply. His voice is odd, too soft for a man. His swords were the god's gift to the Enses. See the rings on his finger? They control the sword. Trying them on would be a waste of time. His swords are like hands. You can cut them off, but you can't graft them to another body. How do the Enses get here, then? The Ends listens to Reit's translation and gesticulates in surprise as he replies. He doesn't know. He's guarding the Menhirs, much like ours, just yesterday under his homeland's scorching suns. Today he finds himself here. He's confused, but credits all that happens to the will of the gods. Why are they here, then? Kama seems to guess your question before Reit can even translate it. They must protect the Menhirs and pour blood over them in libation, to fill them with power and appease the gods. If the gods deem the sacrifice sufficient, they'll grant these lands to the Enses. Okay, then, no further questions. Kama starts speaking almost immediately. Pressing his palm to his chest, he points at your companions. He claims that I lifted a veil from his eyes, and that the skies were ablaze in his homeland. Could happen here as well. He hopes to stop some of his kin, but is ready to fight them if need be. Why does he wear a mask? The Enses wear masks so that the servants of the gods do not know their faces. These servants are called the Umbra. We call them Reapers. They're too dangerous, even as masters. The Ends wants to preserve his true self. Well, then he can come with us, sure. He understood you, Icon. Does the Menhir still have any healing power left? Because now we have the Ends with us, and he's taken a wound. It's level 7. So let's level him up. Alright, sure, let's take a walk. Walk between the Menhirs.
walk between the sacred stones, careful not to touch them. Divine force washes over you, and you suddenly feel at peace. Your wounds are healed, your mind settled. Seeing that you're unharmed, the others follow your lead. Okay. Everyone feels better. And so, we move on.
Hey folks, Aaron here. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and you want more, please hit the subscribe button, like it, all that stuff, and don't forget the alerts for when I post new videos. New videos go up every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 a.m. Central. Vlogs and gaming content. You can also find me at my blog, stickstoriesscotch.blogspot.com, my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/shadowcaster, and a lot of other writing over on Mariner's Rock. Hope you'll be back next time. Until then, remember, keep your knees in the breeze and the shiny side up. And now, I gotta ride.